Hello, this is Aaron Maller from Parallax, and this is just a quick video to go over the find and replace Dynamo graph that I'm going to send over in the Teams chat. For this demo, I'm in our sample file, which only has 2 levels in it, at least 2 levels above ground. So there are a bunch of views and there are a bunch of sheets that deal with level 1 and level 2. For this demo, we're just going to basically change level 2 to level 3 so that you understand how the graph works, and then of course you can do it for your project as well. One thing to note, I would definitely start with the highest level and work your way down, because you can see here if I was to tell a bunch of views to rename from level 2 to level 1, that's going to create a numbering problem, because remember that it's not just the view name and the sheet name that you have to change, it's also going to be the sheet number. So if we just run through what the graph has in it briefly, at the very beginning there's an input and there is what do you want to find and what do you want to replace it with. So you'll see here that I have typed in level 2 not in all capitals, and we're replacing it with level 3 not in all capitals. To give you a brief background of what's going to happen here, the top of the graph is going to collect all the views, it's going to get all of their view names, and it's going to go looking for level 2. If it finds it, then what it's going to do is branch off in 2 directions. One, it's going to go looking for the view name, and it's going to replace level 2 with level 3. It's also going to get the title on sheet for any views that may have the title on sheet parameter in use. If so, it's also going to replace level 2 with level 3, but it's going to use the uppercase version of those. Then it's going to send those changes to Revit. You will notice when you get the graph that everything that says send to Revit we have frozen. So what we do recommend you do is set these inputs to what you would like to replace, and then hit run, and then check the node right before the send changes to Revit and see if these are the results you're expecting. Whenever it's a graph that does something very aggressive, like changing 70 sheet names or 70 view names, I always like to review them first before I activate these nodes by unfreezing them. Now, the top half of the graph is the views that you just saw. The bottom half of the graph is going to do something similar for sheets. So you'll see here we're collecting all of the sheets, and then we're again looking for level 2 in the name of the sheet. From there, we're branching off into getting the sheet names as well as the sheet numbers. The sheet name is a lot more straightforward. We are replacing level 2 with level 3 uppercase, of course, and then we're pushing that to Revit as the sheet name. The sheet number is a little more complicated. What we're doing there is we're pulling the sheet number from all of the sheets, and then we're telling it to separate the sheet number by the periods that show up in the construction documents. It's worth noting that the presentation sheets don't use a period, but that's okay, because what's going to happen is this entire thing is still going to go through the find and replace, and that's going to work out okay. You'll see here that what we're then doing is we're padding the number that we want to replace from the input at the beginning, so that we're looking to replace 02 with 03, and that it completes that replacement and then recompiles the sheet numbers. So you'll see here, this is what all the sheet numbers would result in if you were to run this on the project. Again, we're not going to unfreeze these and run them on our sample project, but if you were to unfreeze all 4 of these and run it, you would see all of the views and sheets rename from level 2 to level 3. One thing that I will mention is there is a very special process that we have to use that is different from this graph. Basically, it's a more complex graph if you need to do this type of find and replace on a level that is higher than number 10. And the reason for that, of course, is that if you search for level 1, it will also find level 10. So in those cases, we may not do a graph that does the sheets and the views all at the same time. But if you run into that, we can send it to you in the future. So what we would recommend is renaming all of the views and all of the sheets using this process, and then to go through and also rename the levels in your model.